On the deadline day, that was the 1st of September, we had stories making all rounds that Leandro Trossard could leave the club of Arsenal if at all an acceptable offer was really made by the club that really needed his services. You understand? From there, we never had any club really putting in a bid to obviously sign Leandro Trossard. But his leaving the club of Arsenal has always been onto very many platforms that really insinuate that maybe Arsenal could think of obviously selling a player known as Leandro Trossard. Then we're obviously going to be discussing about Eric Dier on why he really went ahead obviously depart the club of Bayern Munich, and Nagelsmann, the manager for the Germany national team, has come out and really spoken hugely about Florian Wirtz and Woltemade moving to the English Premier League. Smash the like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Rokani David is my name, and hope you guys are really having fun. And let's continue to put in a very huge shift altogether in here. Now, the side of Arsenal has obviously gone ahead, obviously put in a very huge shift, obviously signing players. And on that position that you're talking about, that is the left forward where Leandro Trossard features predominantly, they do have very many players that really play into that position. And they do have Eze, Trossard, and Martinelli. And out of those, some sources feel like one should obviously leave, and one who is really being pointed at to leave goes by the names of Leandro Trossard. And guess what? A story has obviously emerged from a guy called Sekene Dikime that there is a significant difference between Besiktas' offer for Leandro Trossard and Arsenal's asking price. While the player is open to signing if the clubs reach agreement, Arsenal considers Trossard one of their most valuable players. So Besiktas is really in for a player known as Leandro Trossard, and they really want to put in a very huge shift altogether to see to it that they obviously sign the player and see to it that all really goes on well as planned. I tell you, there is a lot on the table for the side of Arsenal, and they've gone ahead obviously put in a very huge shift to see to it that they really keep Leandro Trossard here. And to bring you up to speed, they even went ahead obviously increase his salary to £200,000 plus. You know what that means? That means the club has obviously gone ahead to make a decision that they really need this player and they want him to be here for some time and really put in the required shift altogether. That is the club of Arsenal for you. And they are really working tooth and nail to see to it that they really get in the best from Leandro Trossard. And I don't think that Leandro Trossard is obviously up for sale. But what is showing is that Leandro Trossard is willing to obviously put pen to paper to see to it that they really get in, or if at all Arsenal and Besiktas obviously go ahead to obviously agree on the deal. He also added and said that Besiktas' search for a left winger is still ongoing, meaning that they are interested in getting in what we call a left winger. You understand? So they are interested in obviously getting in what we call a left winger. And Leandro Trossard is really one of those they feel like they should obviously be pestering, because at Arsenal, it doesn't look like he's obviously going to be getting in ample playing time at the club of Arsenal. That's how things are really looking in there for you. But one thing they're really forgetting is that this player has been really injured, This player has been really injured. You understand? Has been really injured. You understand? And I tell you what, he has been injured, and I think when he really gets back to full fitness, it's Martinelli who will obviously find himself really getting where to play, because you saw to it that in the previous two games, the manager of Arsenal tried him against Manchester United. He really looked bad. Then in the game of Leeds, he really benched him and brought in a player called Noni Madueke to obviously do the needful as a left forward. You understand? So we have to all admit that the best left forwards at Arsenal are Trossard and Ebelechi Eze. And if at all you want to win a trophy, you must be having a Trossard, because he's someone who can obviously play well even without the ball. Now, if at all you feel like you want to obviously bring on players who are not really good on the ball, and you bring them into a scenario like this, it will cause havoc to Arsenal, and it will obviously cause trouble into breaking down teams, because most of the teams that Arsenal is obviously going to be playing are obviously going to be hard to break. I tell you, most of the teams are obviously going to be hard to break, I tell you. So they'll obviously pack the bus, and you need players that will unpack the bus. And I've always asked you on these two players, Leandro Trossard and a player called Martinelli, who of the two is good at really unpacking the bus? I think the answer is simple. It's none other than Leandro Trossard. Now, with all these stories making rounds all over different platforms, as I've gone ahead obviously show you the source, Fabrizio Romano has come up and obviously told us this following about this, that Arsenal are not planning for Leandro Trossard exit despite links with Besiktas move in the recent days. Trossard already agreed new deal at the club in August, and move to Turkish Super League has no chance of happening now. So Fabrizio Romano has come out and really rubbished all those sources coming in through from Turkey that the player known as Leandro Trossard is really one of those that they're wanting to obviously move on. You understand? He has gone ahead to water down everything, and he's like, let's obviously find ourselves in a position of really speaking the truth. And what's the truth? The truth is that Leandro Trossard has gone ahead to agree a deal with the club of Arsenal. And why would the club really increase the salary of a player like Leandro Trossard and then let him leave? And by the way, that really comes to my understanding, and really ask myself, obviously, how can a club do that? Because you know the effects of obviously increasing the salary of a player. You understand? Those effects obviously are really all act as hindrances to obviously keep your player with you, and don't see other teams really craving him to sign your player. So it is really one of those things that Arsenal hate to do, because they wanted to obviously show the player that we need you and we want you here. So that's why Fabrizio is like, those rumors, all those stories are really wide off the mark. And it's like, Leandro Trossard is here to stay and is going nowhere. Amid his contract expiring, I think in 2027, Arsenal are like, we want our player. We want our player, because he came in through in the winter transfer window of 2023 and he signed a contract of 4 years. So Arsenal still have him. Even in the summer, they can obviously sell him off. But he's a special quality player that you cannot easily dispose him of. His stats are really great. If Ebelechi Eze just comes up and really puts in the stats that Trossard has gone ahead to put in the previous seasons has been here, I tell you, those stats addition will obviously lead to what we call a very huge success rate of Arsenal in as far as winning the trophy is really concerned. So that's all about Leandro Trossard, and Fabrizio Romano is coming out tall to obviously say all those linking him to Besiktas are really null and void. Please don't give them your ears, because people are really trying to put them out as they are really trying to obviously sit down there and do what we call desktop journalism. You understand? They're doing desktop journalism, nothing else. So let's leave that sort of Leandro Trossard. I don't think that it will obviously ever cross in here that Leandro Trossard is obviously going to be leaving for Besiktas in there. Now, let's go to Nagelsmann and his two players that he has obviously going to have to bring in through at the Germany national team. And I think they all featured into that particular fixture, that they really played, and they really did a very, very huge job. When you really search in here, and put in Germany fixtures. I think Germany was playing Slovakia. Yep. Germany. Germany was playing Slovakia, and Slovakia, shockingly, went ahead to beat Germany by 2-0. But the two players we are obviously going to be discussing about, we are talked about, Woltemade and Florian Wirtz. Now, the manager was asked on whether he was happy for these two young talents obviously leave the Bundesliga and obviously find themselves playing for the side of the English Premier League. He said, I'm happy when they play a lot of games and get a lot of time. That's the most important thing. It's not ideal for the Germany Bundesliga that the best Germany players are moving to England. Obviously, German best players don't move to England, especially when they're still at their development stage. Most of them leave when they're around 27, 28 years of age. But I think for their first 6 years in their 20s, they obviously spend them playing for Bayern Munich in particular. He added and said, but that's how it is. It's kind of normal at this point, at this period of time. Florian Wirtz is already one of the most important players for us. Nick is too, and will be in the future. I hope Nick will play regularly at Newcastle so he can develop in the right way. If they do, they will play a big role for us. That's what you're really getting in through from the side of Nagelsmann. And I think he has obviously gone ahead, obviously speak out as a mature guy. He's really a Germany guy and he knows exactly what Germany is all about. Players have not obviously gone ahead to leave the Germany Bundesliga to go and play elsewhere, especially when they're not yet close to their peak, or were in their peak years. You understand? But these ones have gone ahead to depart. And I think that obviously affects the intactness of the Germany national team, because Germany used to be having most of its players playing for Bayern Munich. If you remember, that starting 11 for Germany, that really went ahead to win what we call the World Cup, it really had the following players. Manuel Neuer, Bayern Munich. Phil Plum, Bayern Munich. I think they had Matt Hummels, I think was playing for Bayern Munich too. Then they had Thomas Muller, Bayern Munich, and you saw to it that when Wirtz went ahead and obviously looked good, they obviously bought him from Cologne to Bayern Munich. They had close to 7 players into that starting 11. Bastian Schweinsteiger, also was playing for Bayern Munich. You understand? So most of the players in there were playing for the side known as Bayern Munich. So I want to let you know that it was really very important to obviously have those players in there for you. And I can obviously take you to Spain. Even Spain, when they are really winning what we call the World Cup, they saw to it that they really put in a very huge shift to see to it that most of their players play for side known as Barcelona. Iker Casillas, Real Madrid. Carvajal, Real Madrid. The left back, I think, was Jordi Alba. He was playing for Barcelona. Centre back pairing, it was all about Carlos Puyol and Gerard Piqué. All those we are coming in through from Barcelona. You understand? Sergio Busquets, was one of those that really played in there for you. And was it Marco Senna? Marco Senna was from Villarreal, but Sergio Busquets was from Barcelona. Then they also had Iniesta and Xavi, all from Barcelona. Pedro, also from Barcelona. Jesus Navas, and the man who led the line for the side of it was David Villa, who was playing for Valencia. And you also know to it that they went ahead and obviously signed the player from Valencia. You know that very well. So I tell you, that's what they've always gone ahead to do in there for you, to obviously win hearts of many in there. So I think he really has a point, but he has nothing to do about it. That's what I can really come here and really tell you about this. Now, let's go to the Germany. Let's go to Germany again and then go to France. Now, we all know to it that Eric Dier was playing at Bayern Leverkusen and he found himself really leaving that club and he's playing for Marseille. And now, we've obviously gone ahead, getting a very, very huge shift as to why he went ahead and obviously left that side of... as to why he went ahead and obviously left that club of a side known as Bayern Munich, and went ahead and really joined the club called, what's the name of that club? And went ahead to join the club called Monaco in France, right? And he has so far played 3 games. He has 1 goal in there for you, and he's 31-year-old. At the age of 31, you would anticipate that this man would obviously be playing really hugely for his for big clubs, not to go to Monaco. But Monaco is also a big club in French League One. But he has come and told us that I had a fantastic relationship with the team and with Vincent Company. He was the best manager that I worked under. He just couldn't find an agreement that worked for everyone. We just couldn't find an agreement that worked for everyone, and it finished very amicably and respectively. So he's really trying to bash all those rumors that are really saying they really had bad blood, and that's why he obviously came up and obviously left the side of Bayern Leverkusen. But the fact is, the manager was not willing to obviously see him really be part of the squad, and that's why he was like, this guy should leave. But he's at Monaco and obviously doing the needful in there for you. So guys, thank you very much for obviously watching in through. I call upon for your reactions into the comment section about Leandro Trossard Arsenal exit hint. Go into the comment section below and let me what you thought about it. Trossard to Besiktas transfer truth, dropped by Fabrizio Romano, rubbishing it. And would you obviously let him leave, or you still want him at your club? Arsenal fans, please come out and obviously have something to say about this. Then Nagelsmann on Woltemade and Florian Wirtz joining the Premier League. What do you make about it? And lastly, Eric Dier telling us why he really went ahead to leave the club of Bayern Munich and is at Marseille. Vincent Company has come into the conversation, and I'm eagerly waiting to see what your thoughts are gonna be about this. Rokani David is my name. I sign out for now. See you later. Second video of the day, and more is yet to come. When time allows, we'll obviously come and really live stream and see what your thoughts are about the stories that I would have gone ahead to compile and obviously bring up to you here onto the Rokani Media Football. Continue to subscribe because we want to hit 28,000 subscribers. Bye-bye.